And there's only one reason we're gathered here this morning, is to send out the alarm, alert all New Yorkers that we are heading into a very, very dangerous weather event that is unfolding later today and throughout this weekend into Monday, throughout every corner of the state.
I've just declared a state of emergency for all 21 counties here in New Jersey.
Well, hello everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Boy, oh boy, we got quite a system to talk about, which is completely different than what it looked like at the beginning of the week. As you saw by those news clips, New Jersey, Governor Hochul has declared officially a state of emergency for the snowstorm, and also in New York, Governor Hochul has also declared a state of emergency. This is not a storm you want to take lightly. Even if the snow totals you may have heard before and the snow totals we're about to talk about don't come to fruition, let's say we get half the amount. Half of any of that, even the highest I've seen was up to 18 inches. Let's say they're 50% wrong and we get half of 18 inches. That's still 9 inches. And on the lower end, 8 inches. Half of 8 inches is still 4 inches. So there's still a good amount of snow coming. Again, it's something you do not want to take lightly. You do not want to write off and be like, they're probably wrong. I don't have to do anything. So we are going to take a pretty straightforward, not going to try and get too much in detail to try and keep the video short, but I do want to get to the details of what's going on and what we can expect. And to see, because now we have the full repertoire of forecast models available that we didn't on my last live stream. So, sit down, buckle up, hold on to your butts. Cheers. All right, so I first want to start by talking about here the New York City area I'm from, and also the area of a lot of attention right now because the three big politicians out there have made events. This is Governor Hochul of New York State, Governor Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey, and Mayor Mamdani from New York City, brand new mayor, youngest mayor in a long time. Let's see what the setup is going to be. First, I want to talk about from here, the National Weather Service has issued now a winter storm warning. Winter storm warning goes into effect from 3 a.m. Monday to 6 p.m. 3 a.m. Sunday to 6 p.m. Monday. That is over a day of a winter storm going on. This is not going to be a quick Alberta Clipper. This is going to be a prolonged duration event. Not the longest, but still, this could meet the 36-hour blizzard criteria. Although I don't... Actually, blizzard conditions may be possible in this too. All right, what to expect? So this is officially from the warning. 12 to 16 inches of snow. Again, if we cut these in half, say it's half off, 50% wrong, that would be 6 to 8 inches. 6 to 8 inches is still a good amount of snow and nothing to scoff at. So this is southern Connecticut, northeast New Jersey, and southeast New York. Again, 3 a.m. Sunday to 6 p.m. Monday. Impacts, and this is very key. Roads, especially bridges and overpasses, will likely become slick and hazardous. Visibilities may drop to a quarter mile due to falling, and blowing snow. So far, we have two criteria for a blizzard. The duration of the event, which has to be 36 hours, and the visibility, which has to be below a quarter mile or less, which we already saw right there in the warning. What about the wind? Well, we'll see about that shortly. So this is what the winter storm warning shows. And the winter storm warning is pretty much everywhere. Now, I'm going to get straight to it. Here are the snow totals from the National Weather Service. Let me bring up this graphic a little bit more. Here we go. So this is for the Hudson Valley, lower Hudson Valley, southern Connecticut, northeast New Jersey, Long Island. Here, they're highlighting a box that includes parts of New Jersey, such as Paramus. So this looks like Bergen County. Let's just say Bergen and Western Passaic, or actually all of Passaic, but northeast New Jersey, New York City, and Long Island. That's where this box is. Greatest uncertainty in snow sleet totals in this area because the freezing line looks like it's going to set up right over this area. Specifically, I'll say, right at the southern tip of New York City. That's kind of where it looks like if you draw a line pretty much from near the southern tip of Manhattan there, through the North Fork of Long Island. Draw a line right there, and you follow that kind of through, and that's where your freezing line is going to set up, which is very close to where the core of the most amount of precipitation will be. So it'll either be a lot of snow or a good amount of snow with some ice, and that's the more dangerous part. All right, heavy snowfall with 1 to 2 inches per hour snowfall rates expected. Major travel impacts are expected area-wide Sunday into Sunday night, regardless of mixing, likely lingering into Monday morning, possibly Monday afternoon, and the evening commute. So Monday looks like it's going to be a bad day. You definitely want to check with your work if you work Monday, because you might be working from home remotely, or work might be closed. This is definitely a possibility. So that is what's going on in the New York City area. Now let's head a little bit north. All right. So here we're heading into central and northern New York State. Same winter storm warning, but I do want to bring up here the snow map in this area. A lot of 12 to 18s, but here we're going into Ulster County in the red, 18 to 24 inches. So this is also 12 to 18 inches in Poughkeepsie. And then a little bit north of Poughkeepsie, we're going West Hurley there, 18 to 24 inches. The National Weather Service, this is actually a person doing this. It's not like, say, the weather app on your phone that is a computer that's just averaging the forecast models. So this is somebody that's curating this. And that's what they're thinking. All right. So that is a little bit more north into New York State. Now let's go a little bit more northeast into Massachusetts here. Ooh, there's also a cold weather advisory. And if you're along the coast, a heavy freezing spray warning. There's a lot of new names of these warnings. But this winter storm warning, there's a lot in there. Let's see the snow totals. 12 to 17 inches and winds as high as 30 miles per hour. Keep that in mind. That might meet the last criteria for a blizzard. So that is the winter storm warning in there. And then let's take a look here with the snow totals. All right, it's circling here. Low confidence due to possibility of mixed precipitation. Remember I said, if you follow that line from New York City through the North Fork of Long Island, keep going, kind of cross through Plymouth right there, south of Boston. But this is right through this area where we could see a lot of mixed precipitation. So 12 to 18 inches. I probably, if I was making this map, I might have widened it. Maybe. I don't even know if they have a certain set of criteria for this, but maybe even 8 to 18 inches, a 10-inch cap there for this. Because 12 to 18 would be if there's no mixing or very little mixing. If there's more mixing, maybe cut those in half. 6, 2, and then half of 18 would be 9. So 6 to 9 inches. But what I want to look at here, this is going to be for the entire area, regardless of where you are. If you are basically in New Jersey and north. Timing confidence. Yes, I want to say high confidence. Snow likely arrives Sunday morning. I will say specifically, if you're in New Jersey, which is going to start first, you might see some of this starting at about 5, 6 a.m., just before sunrise or right at sunrise. As you hit a bit more north, it could be a little bit later. I will say generally 7 a.m. Sunday, you're going to start seeing some snowflakes happening. Timing confidence, high. So I agree with that. Snow amount confidence, medium. Yes. High confidence, 80 to 100%. I've been saying now, my confidence has gone up to 85%, so I'm in line with this. Lower confidence in the mountains of Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, including the Cape and islands due to potential for mixing. That's what's going to hinder the snow totals. But if it drops the snow totals, that doesn't mean you're in the clear. That doesn't mean you get less storm. That means you actually get more dangerous situation because now you're introducing ice. Ice and snow together are worse than just snow. Is that when you get ice accumulate or ice accretion, it's called, on power lines and on tree limbs. You're adding hundreds of pounds of weight to those, and it could cause breakage of power lines and tree limbs. Travel impact confidence, high, yes. You do not want to go anywhere on Sunday. Don't go shopping Sunday. Don't go to any grocery stores or retail stores or anything like that. Even Monday, I would say don't go to any grocery or retail stores. Now and tomorrow is when you want to go shopping. Not even to a retail store. I wouldn't even go to a retail store. I would say grocery stores. Get out to the grocery store or do your Instacart or Uber Eats or whatever you need to do and stay in. Prepare to hunker down. Travel will be difficult, especially late Sunday and Sunday evening when snowfall accumulation rates will be the highest. Travel impacts continue through Monday. Again, before we saw Monday evening as a possibility for impacts to commute. So that is the setup we are seeing. I don't even need to pinpoint an area, whether it's New York City, New Jersey, but we'll take a peek going down to Mount Holly. There it is. It's just all winter storm warning. And here's from Mount Holly now. South Jersey, 8 to 12 inches. Cape May, maybe even 6 to 8 inches. For Cape May to get 6 to 8 inches, that's also quite a bit. But then going up to North Jersey, 12 to 18. That number's sticking around that 12 to 18 range. Because if we go back again here, the New York City area, now they're actually giving pinpoints versus ranges. But 12 to 18 is in the range here. 15.9, 13.7, 12.5, 12.4, 12 even at JFK. So this is not a storm to take lightly. Now let's jump to satellite. And on the satellite here, we're going to see where the storm is right now. So this storm right now is over Texas. And actually kind of the southern states here. But it looks very messy right now. And that's kind of what the setup is going to be. A messy, disorganized system that's going to kind of whip through the area. Again, not a quick whip. And then on the big picture with the radar, here we go. Let's move on over here. Most of this system, Texas, Oklahoma. In here, we can also be seeing a little bit of sleet happening in Texas and Oklahoma. Very unusual. I feel like even a dusting of snow in Texas, sorry if there's any Texans watching, but if there's a dusting of snow on the ground, you don't know how to drive anymore. That's what's happening there. So that's our system. This is then going to parade north migrate north, translate north, whatever you want to say, northeast, and it's going to meet the Arctic blast we're getting because these temperatures are dropping rapidly right now. It's 17 degrees where I am as of this recording, and it is 9:13 p.m. When I left work at 5 p.m., it was 30 degrees. So it dropped about 13 degrees in just a few hours, and it's going to keep dropping. It looks like this is saying about 12 degrees is going to be the low. That's the setup here. Arctic air coming down, and let me bring this back up here on the surface analysis. Here's your high pressure system. Very strong high pressure system. 1045 millibar. So again, we have in the northern hemisphere clockwise rotation. And this clockwise rotation is going to give very strong cold air advection coming down from Canada, down from the Arctic essentially. And this, we also had the cold front pass already. That's what this is showing. That air mass, this very cold air mass, is here. We're just on the edge of it right now, but as this high pressure system continues to move, we're going to see even more cold air. And specifically New York City, we might not see temperatures above freezing for about 10 days. So, cold air coming down, moist air coming up. Those two are going to meet in the middle. And when they meet in the middle, that's where we could see quite an explosion of snow and mixed precipitation right at the freezing line. That's the setup there. All right, now let's go to these forecast models. So I have refreshed them. I have not seen the latest ones as of 18Z. Because 18Z will be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It takes about 5 hours for the supercomputers to process that, so I have not actually looked at this yet. So we're going to look at this fresh together. Let's see. GFS, tropical tidbits here. High pressure, 1043 millibars, still quite a high pressure system. Here it is, leading edge right there, 12Z Sunday. That's what the GFS is saying. And remember, the GFS had no snowstorm at all just a few days ago. So this is where 12Z would be 7 a.m. So I will say around 7 a.m. or just before that for South Jersey is when you're going to start seeing the snow start. All right, snow starts. It becomes a bit more moderate right around the New York City area here. Then you start seeing it by 18Z Sunday going as far north as, say, Albany or as far northeast as Boston. Here comes the intense part, 0Z Monday. So between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. is where it really gets intense. And if you remember, I said the freezing line is right at the southern tip of New York City there. That's kind of what this is showing. And it stays right around there. So Long Island could get very icy. Not just dicey, but icy. And this heavy precipitation will clip through northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley and Long Island there until it transitions over Long Island specifically to ice, but stays snow really the whole time for northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley area. Then here, 6Z Monday, so 1 a.m. Monday, heavy snow over Massachusetts, Cape Cod there, Boston. So this is where the heart of your storm is going to be. Versus here for New York City, it really looks like by 7 p.m. Sunday is the heart of it. Then going into 7 a.m. Monday, it starts tapering down. We're still seeing precipitation out there. We could see a little bit of switching from snow to mix. And this forecast model, because it's a high resolution, or not, it's a low resolution, large scale model, you don't get to see the little fine details there. But we'll see that on the more high resolution ones in a bit. And then by Sunday afternoon, so 1 p.m., still snowing right around New York City, still snowing all through Boston, all through the Northeast here. And then we really start to see this system leave by Tuesday morning for New England. I would say through the New York area, It would be done by overnight Monday into Tuesday. But there could be, with the cold air in place, some lake effect snow happening if you're in more upstate New York, around the Great Lakes there. And that's all we're going to look at right now. Euro. Take a peek. There it is. 10, 40, 42, 41 millibar highs. So, in a very strong Arctic level high pressure system. Here, 9Z Sunday into 12Z. So, this is 4 a.m. The winter storm warning is going to affect at 3 a.m. So, I agree with that alignment. Between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. is when you can start seeing this system with the snow coming in. So we're starting to see through the New York City area there, snow starting, getting into a bit more moderate snow for the Philadelphia area, South Jersey, going into the Delmarva area. It's pretty intense there. And then the intense snow really kicks in for the New York City area, northern New Jersey, Hudson Valley area. It really kicks in at, it looks like 1 p.m. Sunday. And it stays there through 5, then 7 p.m. 7 p.m. it starts to die down a little bit, but there's your freezing line, as I was mentioning, set up right over New York City. The southern part of Manhattan specifically, on an angle there. So, that area in the box, Long Island, South Shore of Connecticut, it could really be questionable. The Euro is putting this a bit more as rain. I think it's a little too warm. I would say it's going to stay right over Long Island. And then this is going through. Here's 7 a.m. Monday. So we stopped a little bit with the snow and then continued again through 7 a.m. Then the cold air really comes in and the wind really comes in, those 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. And it stays through the morning, little flurries, but wind-blown snow. Even though the snow is stopping from falling from the sky, it's going to blow sideways and horizontally through the roadways. So you still want to try and keep the roadways clear here. And then by Sunday afternoon, wow, that pressure gradient really kicks up. The Monday afternoon really looks windy. It's not looking like a good day overall. Even when the storm's gone, that wind is going to be atrocious. That's the Euro. Now let's take a look at the icon. Now we're getting to a little bit higher resolution models. So here, let's see, we're starting 12Z. This is where timing is pretty high confidence that we're going to start seeing about 7 a.m. There's snow kicking in. Then it gets really heavy there. Now this is very fine where the freezing line there, it could be 20 miles north, 20 miles south. But all in that southern New York City, lower Manhattan area, be tricky. Going through the North Shore of Long Island, the North Fork, heavy snow or heavy rain and sleet, heavy sleet. That's the dangerous part. And then overnight, Sunday into Monday, still snowing Monday morning, still windy, lots of blown snow around here. And it's still snowing actually through 7 p.m. Monday on the icon here. NAM, this is the newer one because we didn't get this the whole time. Still a pretty strong high, 1041 to down to 1039. All right, so now this is simulated radar. So 9Z and 12Z, which is 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. Timing is pretty consistent throughout all of these. And there it is, through Sunday, heavy snow. There's your setup right there for some, whoa. I guess the wind really kicked up. I have my blinds taped in place, and it literally just broke the tape. I have to get that retaped up. I'm also trying to keep the studio with wooden instruments and recording equipment humidified. Anyway, back to here. Sleet. Now this has a lot of sleet and mixed precipitation in there. So this is where the snow totals will probably be lower, but you're mixing in ice now, which is more dangerous. And then through Monday, 7 a.m. Monday, still snowing. And it starts getting out by, say, 11 a.m. And then by 1 p.m., or 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., then it's clearing out. But that pressure gradient really intensifies. Now here, 3 kilometer NAM. Really high resolution now we're getting. Let's go to, there it is, 12Z. Most of the area by 7 a.m. we'll start seeing this. This really starts intensifying through that 18Z, so 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's the freezing line right about there, right at the southern tip of Manhattan there. So this will probably also be a little bit lower with the snow totals. And the last one I'm going to show you for the model, the actual models itself for snow maps, the HRRR. Oh, let me go back to the 0Z. All right, let's see. High pressure, 1040. So consistent with this high pressure being very strong. And here's 7 a.m. It's a little bit faster, but still by 7 a.m. I would say everywhere in Jersey and the New York City area is going to see the snow starting. Here comes your heavy snow. It stays a little bit south, and so does the freezing line. That's as far as I get out. I only get through 7 p.m. Sunday. I don't get any further than that on this particular model. But it's setting up a little bit further south, so I would still say the southern tip of Manhattan, lower Manhattan, is going to see the freezing line. So that's where the icing could be. Now let's just briefly go through what these models are saying for snow totals. Here, a lot of 12 plus in this strip here. For North New Jersey, it is possible to get over a foot. This is saying 15, 16 inches of snow as the higher there. That was total positive snow depth. Now here on the pivotal weather for the Euro, we don't see that. We see the true snowfall ratio, 9 to 12, which is kind of what my range has been. So we're seeing 12 inches through a lot of the area here, 12 inches there, and 11 there. So yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing, 9 to 12 inches. Icon, which is the German model, there's a hard 18 right in there. That is quite a bit of snow there. And then the NAM 12 kilometer, it is giving high snow totals, 19, 22 inches. So this is where we were seeing up to 18 inches on the National Weather Service map. The NAM 12 kilometer is saying 22 inches. That's quite a bit there. But it's pushing the high snow totals a bit more north. But still, northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley, and right along the southern part of Connecticut there, can see up to a foot. And that was just temperatures real quick. I'll just show you the warmest spot because we are running very long right now. For Newark, so what we are seeing is a high in the teens. And again, this is really the warmest spot in the area. If you're seeing your high temperature in the teens, that is quite a cold time. So a high of 19, 21, 29, 25, 26, 29, 31, still below freezing. So for this whole week, below freezing. And look at these dew points, -9, 0, 16, so it gets a little warmer there. Or not warmer, but more humid as the precipitation comes through. Then on Tuesday, 4, -1, 6, 11. So this is very dry air. Arctic air coming in after that. Whew, that was a lot. I need a little drink after that. All right. So overall, this is not a storm to take lightly. Don't scoff at this. Even if these snow totals that I just showed you are cut in half, that's still a big snowstorm. So again, Take precautions now. Do your shopping now through Saturday. Saturday's still going to be a good day. It's just going to be blustery and cold. Fine to go outside for a little bit because you have to deal with frostbite risks at that point. But you don't have to deal with any road issues. So take precautions now. I'm not trying to be alarmist. I'm just trying to be real with you all. This is going to be quite a storm for this weekend. I know that went long, but I tried to give you as much detail as I could. That is my full thoughts on the system. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'm sorry for going long, but it was good to get that out. And you can feel free to flip through that if you like. All right. Day weather ready. Get your emergency weather radios from my link below, bettersaferadio.com. Check out on my channel, I have a playlist of how to prepare for a storm. 3-part series there of shorts. They're all 3 minutes or less, so check that out. And that's a wrap for this video. I probably won't have anything tomorrow unless significant changes happen. Otherwise, I will see you Sunday in the storm. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video.